Hey everybody, this is Tammy at All About Living, and today we're going to make sweet and sour beef and cabbage. So good, so inexpensive. $12, 4 people, guaranteed. Okay y'all, this is a one-pot meal, not a bunch of dirty dishes, easy on the budget. We're going to get started. First thing we're going to do is make the hamburger patties. So we're going to put that in the bowl. We're going to drop a fresh egg in the bowl. We're gonna salt it to taste. That's probably about a half a teaspoon. We're going to pop about 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper in there. And then I'm going to set this aside for a second. We're going to take this little bitty onion that's not good for much of nothing. And we're going to just grate it down until I get probably about maybe 3 tablespoons full, which would probably be this whole thing. And we'll just leave that to the side because we're going to need another onion, so we'll just leave that there. Put my little 2 or 3 tablespoons right here. Goes in my mix. Then I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of rice. And I'm going to get in there with my hands because that's the way my granny taught me how to make anything in a bowl. You just want to make sure that it's all good mixed up. Now I'm going to make 6 patties out of this. Try to make them all about the same size. And these patties are loose, like really loose. But that's the way they're supposed to be. Okay, now we're going to come over to the stove and get that pan hot. Out like that. And now we're going to let that pan get nice and hot. Alright, my pan is hot and I'm ready to put my burgers in there. Okay, my burgers are in the pan. Now, word to the wise, this is a 75-25 fat split on this burger that I'm using. If you're using a really lean burger, then after that pan gets hot, you might want to put a couple of tablespoons of oil in there just to make sure that they don't stick. But I don't have to do that because I like fat, so there you go. Okay, my burgers are brown on that back side, so I'm going to give them a flip. See how nice and brown? We're just going to flip them. Oops, that one fell apart. But that's okay. Okay, now we're going to let that other side brown. And we're going to come over here and cut these veggies. There we go. We got those cut. They're brown on both sides. And now I'm going to take them out of my pan. And I'm going to add back just a tad of oil, because even this hamburger didn't leave me with enough oil. All right, even with my burger, I don't have enough oil in there, so I'm just going to add like a tablespoon just to make sure that I have enough to brown those carrots and onions. Get my carrots and onions in there. And we're just going to lightly brown them. Bang, bang, bang. Now we need to add a can of tomatoes. Because my onions are brown. Now we're going to add our tomatoes. Just one can. These are just diced tomatoes, but you can use stewed or whatever kind you got handy. Now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And 2 tablespoons of honey. Now we need to give that a stir. And I'm going to turn this down just a little bit for just a few minutes, and then I'm going to turn it back up. Because right now I need to cut up my cabbage. We're going to cut this, and we're going to cut it above the heart, or as close to it. I still got some, so we're going to have to like this. And now what we want to do is we want to make 6 sections. Now I'm going to have 4 because that's awful wide, so we're going to go 1 more. Okay, I like to salt in stages, so I salted my meat. Now I'm going to salt this, and I'm not going to over salt, so it's like 1/4 teaspoon. I'm just going to leave that lid off because I'm going to need it. And I'm just going to put a little bit of pepper in that. I'm going to give that a stir. I'm going to put my hamburger patties back in there. I'm going to lay my cabbage. And put that big one in the middle. Put the smaller ones on the side. Now I'm going to salt that cabbage. Now I'm going to put the lid on it and hope it goes all the way down because I want to steam that cabbage. I got it. It's in there. All right. Now in 20 minutes, we'll check it. Make sure your lid's good and tight. And we're going to simmer that cabbage and all that goodness and finish cooking that hamburger And we will come back in 20 minutes and see how well steamed, if our cabbage is done, or if we need to steam it for just a little bit longer.
Okay.
I'm about 15 minutes in, and I'm still kind of hard. So I'm going to flip this. Trying not to make a mess, but it's not working. All right, we're at about 25 minutes. Maybe getting closer to 30, but we are gonna take care of this because that is nice and soft. Slide that right there. Grab us a couple of burgers. Oops, I dropped one. Get us some of those carrots and some of those tomatoes. Didn't want to leave it. There we go. Now I bet it'll come off. Dinner is served.